So now we are going to start. We have our 12 cutouts and we're going to start painting them. It's very simple. I have here, it can be this, it can be, pastels. So we're going to do I'm going to use this one better. Just a little bit of that, and we're going to go right through the middle in a dark black. This is like where we're going to fold up. So you're just going to put a little bit of black. And then from the center to these edges. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to thermoform. It just has to look darker. So we're going to go from here to here. So that's your. You can use a cheesecloth. Now you can look through a little bit of splotches here and there because it's like that way. So we're going to do these. Something like that. You can do it on both sides. You can use a paintbrush, a sponge. I'm using sometimes even a napkin. It doesn't have to be a perfect line. So we're going to try to follow the same line from here to here, like a curvature. And this is the batwing. And just do a little bit of splotches here and there. Be circular. You give it your own style. So kind of something like that. So we're going to finish up the 12 and continue to thermoforming. So now we're going to paint. We have them all, our 9 bud fire petals cut out. So we are just going to, I have a set of like blue tones and red tones or crimson red and yellows. So kind of like to make a fire. So we're gonna, I usually put a little bit of water. It's got a little bit of water so we can put a little bit of, doesn't have to be perfect. So the center, you want to put your reds, your dark reds. Then we're gonna put some oranges. You can't really tell about the orange. So like the blues, we're going to do them at the edges. So we're just going to glue maybe a little bit of lines here and there because it's going to represent some fire. So we got these little things like that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of yellow, which is going to turn it a little bit. You can see the green. So don't be scared of it. It's not supposed to be perfect because this is a fire. So we just want the tones of fire, which is something like that. I'm going to put a little bit more red here and there. I'm using this crimson red, but you can use your own, a darker orange. So basically you're just going to, like fire. So you can see your tones there. So I'm going to use the same. I'm going to wet it because it has a little bit of water there. I'm going to put reds here. But I like the blues right at the edges because, that's kind of where the oxygen kind of goes when you have a fire. If you look at the fire in your fireplace, so we're going to do this. And then we're going to put a little bit of yellow. Maybe from the inside and push out further. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can use your any type of colors because it's foam, so you can even use markers actually. So we're going to do this and just put a little bit more of this crazy crimson red here and there. So don't be scared. I know it looks kind of like what? But that's your fire. So you've got your blues, purples, your reds, oranges, and your yellows. And you can use any type of colors. So I'm going to do just another one. So we can know we're going to try to use our tones of reds and oranges through the center. I'm going to do both sides at the same time so it can go a little bit faster. You're going to repeat for your 9 petals. I'm just going to put a little bit coming out here. like that, and we're going to use our blues right at the edges, just for darker blues here and there. And then we're going to, put a little bit of our yellow. It's going to look greenish, kind of like some fires, I'm going to put a little bit of orange here and there, but just so it won't look up here. So there's another one, and we're going to repeat for both sides. One. Pretty it looks. So it's starting to look like a fire. Once we thermoform it, it is going to take such a beautiful color, and it's going to look like fire. You're going to like it. So we're going to put more yellow here. So there you go. We're going to repeat for our 9 fire bud petals. There we go. How to thermoform a batwing petal. So we have our template cut out on our craft foam, Blossom EVA foam. We warm up the center line and we pinch it all the way. Make sure the edge, the little tip is very pointy. And then we follow our other little line like a batwing, and we make sure our little tip is very pointy. So we do 3 pinches to the form of the batwing. And then we're just going to stretch out all the edges. You don't have to ruffle them. You just stretch out like a batwing skin. And you stretch, stretch, stretch. You stretch this, and this little edge, we're going to twist it to the outer edges. This other part, we're going to twist to the outer edges. And then we're just going to make this little, very small piece in here. And another very small piece in here. And there's the batwing. So we have our 12 wires here, and we are just going to glue. You can use your heat gun every wire to the back of each leaf. So I'm going to use my 369 glue, which is I'm just kind of used to it. You can use your glue gun. So I just glue this here, hold it with this. And we glue. You may want to pinch it a little bit. Put a little bit more black here. So here's one. So the style is a little bit, you curve it here, and then you curve it like that. And there's your petal. And this is a petal. So we're going to go to the next one. And we're just going to put our glue So we're gonna warm it up here. Pinch the center. And then make sure this one, because that's where we're gonna wire it, right here. And then we're gonna do one side, and just with our fingers, just roll it a little bit to the inside. And on the other side, roll it a little bit to the inside. Kind of for it to look kind of like blue. And then here's the fun part. So we're gonna do the top part. And these little fires, we're going to twist them like that. So they're like little flames coming out. And then the center one, we're just going to make like a twist. Like that. And then we're going to follow the same thing over here. We're going to make this little flame, and this is going to be a little twist. And on this other side, we're going to make a little flame, and this is going to be a twist. And then just these last, almost last two, and then we're going to make a little twist. Now, if you want to cut a little bit more in, so it could, I'm going to cut a little extra in, just so it twists a little bit more. And then this other part, this twist, and then we're going to do this kind of bending. So can you see? There it is. How cute. How cute is that? It's a little flame. So this is what I call fantasy flowers. This one is twisted. Now on the back side, we're going to grab one of our wires, and we're just going to get our glue, and we're going to glue it like 3/4 way through. Oh, I need my closed up. So I always use just a needle to go through this, and it closes up because you don't want it showering like really strong. That's if you're using this glue. So I'm just going to push this little needle through it. As thin as possible because you just want a little drop coming out. So I'm just going to put, there we go. And we're going to put our wire in, hold it, make sure it glues. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in here because this one you don't want it to show. There you go. There's your little fire. And then we're going to, in the next step, we're just going to light her like that. But it's a fire flame. So let's do another one. Do the center first. And we pinch this line. Make sure it's properly pinched. Then we're going to go through the sides. And just with a finger, kind of like roll it like this. Make it a little bit going like that, you know, towards the inside. You don't want it flat. Then we're going to do the other side. And we're going to put our finger, roll it through the inside. So there you go. Now we're going to do the top part. We're going to twist and twist these like that. Something like that. And then we go to this other, we twist this and we twist this. Because these are your little flames. So we're going to do the next one. We make this little bend and we twist these. This other one, we make this little bend and we twist these. These are your little flames. That's why those ones have a little bit extra blue. Because, you know, like if you see the flames will always be like kind of bluish at the end. Well, not always, but you know, it depends on the type of fire. But so we're going to continue this with all our nine petals. We're going to glue. We're going to put a little bit of glue. Put in our wire and close it up. Make sure you get the wire like half, you know, 3/4 way, like all the way to the top. Put it a little bit straight. I mean, it's fine, but because when we're going to put it in, the top one will be a little bit like that towards the upside. So there's your flame. So let's continue with all our petals. So we are now that we have finished all our fire bud petals, we're just gonna have to, you can grab your floral tape from your kit, and it is very easy. We're going to start with 3, 3, and 3. So we're going to use this part in the front, facing 3 of them like that. And we're just going to wire them right at the very edge. We're just going to, tape them. We're going to cut a little piece of tape. And we're just going to tape right at the edge. We're going to wrap our 3 wires. And we're just going to do like half an inch to 1 inch. Like just a tiny little bit like that. And we're going to add 3 more. So before we add them, what I always do is these I am going to fold completely towards, this one's the top side, so we're going to fold to the down side right there. Right there. And right there. So we're going to add these 3. I don't know if you can see. It's like half an inch. Half an inch to 1 inch. And we're going to grab 1, 2, and 3. So we want these 3 to be at the same level. Just a little bit below. So we're going to keep on wiring. We're going to keep on using a floral tape. Try to get it as strong as possible. Now from here, we're going to have another tiny little, you can see it's like half an inch from the edge to here. So we're going to use this, but we're going to let it a little bit out. This is the top part, the one that has them. So we're going to calculate a little half inch of the wire and bend there. So that's a little half inch here, because you want the fire to look like it's coming out. So that's a little half inch. We bend right there. And here's a little half inch, and we bend right there. So then we're going to add these 3 right between the previous. So it's going to look like a little fire flame. And then we add another one. And it just comes a tiny, that little half inch just makes it come a little bit out, a little bit more, and you can't tell much of a difference. So we're going to do the 3rd one. And we're just going to wrap it all the way down. Wrap, 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 wrap. And every time they come getting sturdier. And then you will just open them up a bit. So you can see right here you can see your stem right here. So it looks like a beautiful fire. And this is your fire bud. So this will go inside your bat wings. So you're going to open these up and you're going to try it. Let me see if I can get it right in the middle. You're going to try the first 3 ones right in the middle of those 3. You're going to give it a little twist. You can pull these out and twist it back down, these first 3. And then you've got these other 3 that come out kind of like they're in the middle of the fire. Very, very intricate. So I don't know if you can see that. So that's your fire. Gorgeous. So we want to see it inside the petals. So now we're going to work on the bat wing petals. So you've got your fire coming out. You may want to close these. And there you go. Look at that gorgeousness. So we are now going to start thermoforming our leaves. It is going to be so easy and it's going to look so scary. So we're going to, first of all, where we're going to put our wire, we're going to heat the center part all the way to the big tip. And we're going to stretch it a little bit. Not only crimp it, but we're going to stretch it. This one has to be like very, very pointy. You know, like little Dracula nails. So, and then we're going to do the same thing here. All the way to the point. Like a little Dracula. So you may want to do on some and some others, the ones you like the best. Like I'm going to crimp this one here. And stretch a little Now on the rest, where you don't go all the way down, what you do want to do is just make this pointy. These little pointy, kind of scary little, can you see? Like little teeth, like Dracula teeth. Very scary. So it's kind of like a scary, pointy leaf. You see that? So we're going to do that on these other two. So I'm going to run a line to this one from the center. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see on the black color. And these two, we're going to make a pointy little finger. And right here, we're going to make a pointy little finger. Like crow's nail. Like, look at that. Oh. It's starting to look. So we end this on the bottom. I'm going to make this line to the bottom here. Make sure we get that here like from the bottom. And then this one, you want to make your little crow's finger. I'm going to make, you see how there's a line here? Through here, I'm going to make another one right through the center, all the way to this center. So you can see that right here. And these two little fingers, we're going to make little crow's nails. So it's just a little crow nail and a little crow nail. See? So we got the center, 1, 2, and then this one and this one. And you have like a top one here, and we're going to try to make one of these. Well, we already have that one, but we're going to push it all the way, our little crow feet, and our little crow feet. So once we have this here, we're going to get our glue. I'm going to use my craft glue. You can use your glue gun or whichever. I just like craft glue a little bit better. Just because I don't like too much glue coming out. It gets kind of so we're just gonna put our wire all as tall as possible, because here you can play around with the bends. You know, so I'm just gonna turn it around and make sure it's very pointy. So I'm going to do this, kind of twist it down. And there you go. See, it's like a grabbing you. You can do this and then kind of like twist it here and then down here and then go down here. Like a very evil hand. And there you go. And this is what's going to go in our giant greasy pot. Now we're going to repeat on the other. And we're going to leave these for the end to close off our flower. And let's just repeat on this one. And we are ready for the next step. And now we will thermoform our sepal. So we're going to make a line right through the middle. And we're just going to stretch it like that. And the same thing we did for these little edges, we're just going to twirl them. We're going to twirl them like that. And we're going to make this pointy edge a little bit go like that. And pass this like that. So this is the thermoforming for the sepal, and we're going to do the same on this side. I'm going to pass our finger through it, and we're going to twirl these little things. And right here, and make sure we do this right from the center. So this is going to be our bud. I'm sorry, our sepal. Right here. And here we go. And then we're just going to make a little hole. Yours may have one already. And we're just going to insert it in the back of our flower. So now we're going to work on the first layer. So you're going to grab 6 of your batwing petals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 of them, and we're going to do one layer. And what we're going to do is, this is the top part, so this goes 90 degrees down, right at the edge. You can see that? So 1, and it goes right there, right at the edge. 2, 3, I'm turning it this way, I'm putting it upside down. 4, 5, and 6. So it's very simple. We're gonna, as you can see, I have a little video regarding, if you want to do it as perfect as possible. So I'm gonna use this little circle I have here. But you just want to calculate your 6 petals, because they've got to be like evenly distributed right to the center. Right to the center. So you got your third there. Because we're just gonna put a little dab of glue once it's like organized. Now I want you to be careful in this part, the last one. You don't want it on top of this one and on top of this one. You want it on top of this one, and this overlaps on this side. So they're supposed to be overlapping evenly, right? So you've got you can see it like that. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue like on each little lapping, because you want it to be like perfectly like they're bat wings, but kind of like a cobweb, so I'm actually going to use now my silicone glue. So you want it as perfect as possible, and I'm just going to put a little dab here, just a little dab, just so they won't move while we start taping them. So you see a little dab right there, a little dab right there, a tiny little dab right here. You will glue later on a little bit more, but this is just to get the proper structure going. So make sure you press your little dabs properly. And we've got our tab here. I'm going to put a little dab over here. And a little dab over here. So look at that, how cute it looks. So make sure all kind of pulls as straight as possible, just at the edge. There we go. Now we're still gonna give them a little form, but this is to be able to we're gonna put our fire in there before we put the other 6 petals. So once the fire is in there, we're gonna turn it around, cut a little piece of tape right here, and we're going to wrap this up. Let me turn it around so you can see. It's a little bit harder because I'm used to doing it looking down, so I have a little hard time doing it the other way around. So just so you can see as tight as possible, we're going to wrap our floral tape. We still have to add the other petals, so don't worry about this. I just want you to see this part. So it'll be very sturdy because we're going to floral tape it like twice. So as you can see, a little bit complicated for me doing it the other way around. But here you go. So we are going, and there you go. So you see this little fire? Now these are going to go a little bit towards the upside. We're gonna shift them in. And now we're gonna get ready for adding the other part. And look how pretty it's looking. Ooh, scary. It is a scary flower. So let's go to the other part. So now when we have our flower, I closed it up a bit. If you can see it, it's a little bit closed. So you're gonna want to push them down. And I'm standing up so you can see, like, I already have it straight. So you have to see it like from the part up. So is it straight? I'm gonna use now my 369 glue, my craft glue, which is, you know, you can use your silicone glue. I'm just used to this one, and it's just kind of easier for me. But I use a very thin needle all the time to make sure not too much comes out. And then I'm just going to glue, make it a little bit sturdy. I'm just going to make sure my overlapping is glued properly, because you don't want it flapping. The other, you know, you see that? So you want it as sturdy as possible. Now the other part of the flower, that one's going to be flapping. They're kind of like bat wings, kind of between petals and leaves. So we're going to have this right here. I'm going to glue this with your heat gun. I'm just going to close it a little bit more here so it can be a little bit more. So I'm just going to hold. So we got right here, we need just this one little dab right here. So now for our next 6 petals, these are going to be a little bit different. So this is the top part. We're going to calculate 2 inches. You can see that 2 inches, you know, I have 1, 2, 3 square, and then we're going to twist it down. So these are going to be coming out a little bit. So these 2 inches from the edge, 1, 2, and we're going to the same thing, right? You're going to have to, you know, it's easier if you stand up. You're going to have to make sure that the little edge is between these two. Okay, so you may want to push your heat gun or your, I'll open it up in a bit, but you want to do this to it right there. And then you're going to want to do this one right here between these two. Of course, you can move it around, then we're going to do a little bit of glue. And then you have it right there. You have this one right here between these two. I'm just going to turn my heat gun on so you can see how that one's going to just open up a little bit right here. And then we're going to do this right there, right in the middle of these two. Can you see 1, 2? And then this one right in the middle of these two. Well, we got this one, and then this one right in the middle of these two. So you've got your kind of little thingy here, your little flying contraption flower, scary, scary flower, and we're just going to cut another little piece of floral tape and do the same thing we did. We just do the same thing. Don't worry if they move a little bit. You will have a chance to fix them up once they're tied. I'm going to tie them twice because I'm just kind of using it like a tape right now. Going like that. So this is the part that's going to go into your PVC bendable pipe. You may want to cut this. It's a little bit too long for me. So you may want to leave it. It's really totally up to you. So what I'm going to do right now is, first of all, you got to make sure one is in between each of these two, right? So we've got this one. Let me grab my heat gun so we make sure these open up, okay? So let me find my heat gun. So here's our heat gun, and we are just going to give it a little bit because I think it closed up. I was keeping it. So that's it right here. I'm just gonna make sure this opens up a little bit. And that's it. Just hold it opening up. Maybe you want to put a little dab of glue in the middle here, so you don't want. I mean, the wire's not really going to show because it's the bottom part of the flower, but you know, they will be looking at it from every single angle because it's really quite a sight. So you're gonna push it down, just a little bit of heat. You know, so every time if you have something like that going on, you know, heat fixes it completely. You want to press it down here. And then every single one of these, this little tip right here in the back is going to glue to right in the middle of these. Let me see, make sure you can see. You see right there? So I'm going to make a little dab of glue right there. Right there, a little dab of glue, and you're going to glue it. Make sure it doesn't move. So you got this one glued right there. And you see how it's twisted here? So we just want to open it up. Use a little bit of your heat and make sure it's as straight as possible. So now we're going to do this it's right in the middle of these two. So you're going to do the same thing here. Verify it's right in the middle of these two. So it's right here, and we're going to put a dab of glue there and make sure it glues. Right there. So you're in the middle of these two. You're going to move around because it's kind of pretty big. I think this flower stands over 22 inches. Our kids say 22, but you know, there's sometimes they just come out bigger. So you're going to put a little dab of glue and make sure it's right in the center of these two little things in the previous layer. So we're going to do here the same thing. Move them around, make sure it's right in the middle, and just a little dab of glue. So it's right there. It's holding its place. And then we're going to go right here in the middle of these two, right here, you can see. And we're just going to put a little dab of glue. And there we go. And the last but not least, right here in the middle of these two, you can see. And we are going to dab it right there. So now it's really up to you to make these, like, you may want to look them like droopy, you know, like super droopy down. I'm going to put them a little bit droopy so you can see. You can try it many ways and then maybe point these back up. You know, like, I don't know, can you see how this droops down? You're making a curve like down and up. So you may want to do that. Now look at how beautiful this thing looks. Can you see? And we are going to, you do want to close the center of your fire, because that's like if you see it sideways. It's a gorgeous thing. So we are going to go to the next part, and it is looking awesome. Amazing, fabulous. Scary flower. So now we're just going to introduce our sepal, and you want to cover the wires on each of these leaves, the big ones. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue here, and put each leaf with its petal along it. I'm going to do the same over here. Right there. We're going to do this circle right here. So we're going to wrap our pipe in brown foam. We're just going to stretch it out. And you may want to put a little bit of glue to start it. Make sure you always start from pulling it back. Like, don't wrap like this, wrap it like this, okay? Like always wrap like that. So we're going to start with a little bit of glue here. And we're going to keep it at an angle. And we're going to start wrapping our bendable pipe. Just wrap, wrap, wrap. So now we're just going to drill to insert our leaves. And we're going to go sideways. So I want one there. One them kind of close to the top. So I'm going to put this one over here. There we go. And then we insert our leaves. And congratulations, you have just finished your amazing giant fire flower. Happy Halloween!